We begin by seeing a little girl named Lizzie, who plays some music. She has breakfast and packs her bags to return to her father's house. After that, she tidies up the messy house. Lizzie is an only child but very efficient with household chores. When she finishes, she goes to wake up her mother, Kathy, who appears to be a bit lazy and is deluded by an irresponsible man since she no longer lives with Lizzie's father. While the girl waits for her mother to get ready, hours pass, and it becomes the afternoon, which makes Lizzie upset. Kathy apologizes for sleeping too long but then leaves by car with her daughter. Mother and daughter are not very well connected and spend part of the trip without speaking to each other. When they arrive at a gas station, Kathy, after smoking, gives her daughter a watch that belonged to her own mother, a keepsake that now belongs to Lizzie. Kathy says she is giving it to her because she imagines she won't return anymore since she is not a very responsible mother. They then continue the journey, and a flashback shows a memory from years ago when Kathy went to her ex-husband's house to take her daughter to an important theater play. However, Lizzie did not want her mother to go because she was not a good example. They argued, and an irritated Kathy left. Back to the present, Lizzie tells her mother that she wants to continue the journey, even though it is late at night because her father and stepmother are waiting for her to spend the night with them. With no choices, Kathy continues the journey, and despite the rain, she doesn't stop because she wants to please her daughter. They talk a bit to lighten the awkward atmosphere when suddenly the car hits something and loses control on the road, causing Kathy to hit her head and hurt her wrist. The vehicle stops on a road surrounded by a forest. They worry about calling emergency services, and Lizzie tells them where they probably are. Meanwhile, we see that the car tire is beyond repair. With the car unable to continue, both remain inside the vehicle, and Kathy puts a band-aid on her head wound. After the rain stops, they see the animal they hit and decide to go out and see it. With the driver's side stuck, Kathy exits with her daughter. Lizzie looks at the animal lying on the road, afraid to approach it. Kathy, on the other hand, inspects the tire and, seeing it is unusable, asks her daughter to call her father to come and get her. Her father questions the reasons for the accident, suspecting that Kathy was drunk since this had been a common occurrence in the past. Fortunately, she hadn't made that mistake this time, even though her memories condemned her for the person she had become over the years, which was the reason her ex-husband and daughter had distanced themselves from her. Back to the present, they observe the animal on the road. They approach it and realize it is a wolf that died from the impact. They return to the car, and Kathy talks to her daughter, showing a large tooth and saying the animal had severe wounds before being hit, likely fighting in the forest and driven out by a larger animal. While both are in the vehicle, a growl can be heard coming from the forest. A moment later, as it rains again, a tow truck approaches them, and before the driver gets out, Lizzie notices that the dead animal has disappeared, which scares them both. The tow truck driver, Jesse, says the ambulance will take a while and that he will take them. While he helps, he mentions that no one uses that road anymore. Kathy says they hit a wolf, but it disappeared, seemingly got up, and went into the forest. Jesse takes their belongings to his car while they decide to stay in their car to be towed. While Jesse prepares the tow, Lizzie inside the vehicle examines the canine tooth of the possible predator that attacked the wolf. She asks Kathy about the tooth being huge compared to a wolf's size. Jesse continues attaching the cable to the car when Kathy asks about the phone, and Lizzie says it is in the bags Jesse took to his car. Kathy asks the girl to get the phone from the man, and when Lizzie goes to Jesse, he tells her to get it from his car. Despite being scared, Lizzie goes to Jesse's vehicle but finds it locked. She informs Jesse, and he says he will unlock it soon. Lizzie notices the bloodstains on the road and becomes uneasy about the animal being dragged into the forest. Approaching the forest's edge, she sees the dead animal hidden among the bushes. Lizzie calls her mother to see it, but Kathy inside the car doesn't hear her. This situation reminds Lizzie of a night when, while her mother was sleeping, she whispered how much she hated her because she wasn't the mother she should be. Back in the present, suddenly a terrifying creature appears behind Lizzie but vanishes in the blink of an eye. She then returns to her mother's car and tells her that she saw the dead wolf. While Jesse was fixing the car in the rain, he heard terrifying growls nearby and used his flashlight to see what it was. Kathy tells her daughter to forget about the animal and says they will be leaving soon, but Lizzie questions what could do such a terrible thing to a fierce animal. Seeing that Lizzie is scared, Kathy promises that the animal that killed the wolf will not come after them. She then starts calling for Jesse, but he doesn't respond, and it's revealed that he is no longer there. Kathy decides to go out and look for him, even though her daughter is against the idea. Kathy looks around the car and doesn't see Jesse, which scares her. She continues to search around, calling for Jesse, thinking he might be hiding in the darkness of the forest. Amidst the rain, the sounds and growls echoing from the forest are not clear to Kathy. Suddenly, part of Jesse's arm is thrown onto the hood of Kathy's car, and she quickly returns to the car, staying with her daughter, both terrified by what happened. Lizzie is very scared, so Kathy tries to comfort and calm her. A few minutes later, they see Jesse crawling onto the road, trying to reach his car. Lizzie and her mother see him approaching but don't know what to do. Jesse struggles to get into his car but is unable due to his severe injuries and missing arm. Lizzie tells her mother she sees the monster in front of her, a humanoid creature with sharp, enormous teeth. Jesse opens the door but cannot get in because he is too injured. The creature disappears from their sight, but Jesse, lying on the ground, is dragged under his vehicle and unfortunately taken to his death. After witnessing this horrifying and terrifying scene, both remain silent in the car, trying to comprehend what they saw. Lizzie cries in fear, as she believed monsters didn't exist, but what she saw changed her mind. Kathy, seeing Jesse's car door open, says that if she can get the key, they can leave the place. Lizzie, fearing the worst, doesn't want her mother to go, but with no other choice and not knowing when help will arrive, Kathy goes to Jesse's car. However, before she can leave, the monster attacks the car and pulls Kathy out. It begins to attack her, but fortunately, an approaching ambulance scares the creature away. Both are taken inside the rescue vehicle for first aid, but Kathy urges them to leave immediately, saying a monster will kill them. Seeing parts of a body there, one of the paramedics looks around, and when his partner calls him to leave, he is nowhere to be found. Upon entering the vehicle, suddenly the three women are terrified as the body of the other paramedic is thrown onto the ambulance windshield. The monster launches another attack on the group, terrifying everyone inside. Kathy asks the nurse to move to the back with them, but the creature grabs and kills her, leaving Kathy helpless, watching the paramedics being killed in front of her. Taking the opportunity to escape, Kathy speeds away in the ambulance, quickly distancing themselves from the area. They are happy for a moment, but the swift monster emerges from the forest and crashes into the vehicle, causing it to roll off the road. Lizzie has some injuries but manages to get up. However, when she sees her mother, she finds that she is unconscious. Fortunately, it doesn't take long for her to wake up. Kathy grabs the radio and calls for help, but there is no response. Suddenly the creature appears, terrifying them even more. However, when Kathy shines a light on its face, the monster does not attack and leaves. Kathy is severely injured and coughs up blood, but remembering she needs to get her daughter out of there, she gathers her strength, returns to Lizzie, and tells her she needs to get back to the road because no one knows they are there. Kathy has a plan and encourages her daughter for what she needs to do next. She explains that she will distract the monster while Lizzie runs to the road. Lizzie fears her mother will be caught by the creature, but Kathy says she will carry a torch to protect herself, assuring that monsters do not like light. Lizzie knows her mother is lying, but Kathy asserts that she will die soon, so with the time she has left, she will do something to help her daughter survive because she loves her very much. After saying goodbye, Kathy takes the burning torch and goes deeper into the forest. When she is far from the vehicle, she screams to attract the creature. It doesn't take long for growls to be heard nearby, and knowing she has a chance to save her daughter, Kathy extinguishes the torch and screams loudly, telling Lizzie to run. Suddenly, the creature emerges from the darkness and attacks Kathy, and unfortunately, the bites are cruel and cause her great pain. Fortunately, Lizzie bravely arrives and attacks the monster with a hammer, shining the light on its face and scaring it away with her screams. After the attack, Lizzie goes to her mother, who is mortally wounded, and laments over her. Unfortunately, Kathy dies in her daughter's arms, causing Lizzie to cry intensely. Hearing growls nearby, Lizzie says goodbye to her mother and, with a flashlight, returns to the vehicle. She then cries over the loss and anxiously realizes she is alone. With her mother's lighter and finding an inflammable spray, she has an idea. She takes her stuffed animal that plays children's songs and sets it to make noise inside the ambulance, then hides. It doesn't take long for the creature from the forest to approach and enter the vehicle, furiously attacking the stuffed animal. Meanwhile, Lizzie leaves her hiding place and goes outside. The creature follows her, but bravely Lizzie waits, saying she doesn't fear the monster. As soon as the beast attacks, Lizzie uses the spray and lighter to set the monster on fire. The creature moans in pain, its body in flames, but it soon falls to the ground, apparently dead. Lizzie approaches the monster, and its body shows a reaction. Fearing it might get up, Lizzie uses a stick to hit the monster until it stops moving. By dawn, Lizzie walks through the forest until she finds signs of civilization, remembering how she and her mother faced their fears without hesitation. Now, the strongest memory she will carry of her mother, Kathy, is the unconditional love she demonstrated amidst difficulties and the sacrifice she made to save her.